Hello and welcome to the Sacred Pearl podcast with myself, RevArleneC from Rev.ArleneC Codorniz Ministry. So it's been a little difficult to make videos this week, or maybe month. I don't even know anymore because everything is so swirled up together, and I know I probably say that more often in videos than I realize, but it doesn't change the fact that everything is just accelerating so quickly. And then also at the same time, there's days where you feel like you're a hamster on the wheel and you're just going, but you feel like you haven't really made any progress or movement, but you're going. And I feel like that's really kind of what's been happening right now. And plus two, we've been having these crazy heat waves here in southwestern Ontario, so it also makes it really difficult to do things because you're just so friggin' hot all the time. But yeah, and it's just like, the idea of physically doing too much is exhausting because you're just pouring down in sweat. And I know I'm probably extra shiny, who knows, right? Just because of all the, we'll call it sparkle or something. Who knows? It's a glow. It's not sweat. It's a glow. So I wasn't 100% sure again if I was going to come on today and make this video, considering it's already kind of late in the evening. But it's just, I don't even know how to put into words what is taking place right now. And it's gonna feel different for many, and it's gonna show up differently for many. But at the same time, it's like the energy is still the same, or there's like a lot of commonality to it. And again, like, I don't really follow a lot of the astrology stuff. I just pick it up, like I just get told, and then I've learned from others about those things, and then it's like, oh, okay, now that explains, or there's that correlation between why I was given the information, or why this is being shared with me, right? And I know that supposedly there's like a lot of planets and everything. There's lots happening, like space weather, lots happening with planets right now, and retrograde, and all these things happening and shifting. And the fact that we just had, was it new moon, I think? Yeah, I think we just had a new moon a few days ago too. So we're just kind of coming out of that energy. And so, sorry, I'm just really, I don't know why it's so difficult, or why the words are struggling. I have an idea of why, but at the same time, I don't know why. I don't know if that makes any sense. I think it's just because I've personally struggled with, always like trusting, I don't even like say trusting my gut, but often I've been also the type of person where it's like I question a lot, right? I'm not one of those people who just take things at face value. I don't know if that's the right term to use. Oh my gosh, it seems like I'm forgetting English right now, and I know speaking Portuguese would be just as bad, so I'm not going to be speaking in Portuguese either, because either or it will come out horribly. So bear with me, because clearly information is coming in, and when this happens, I tend to forget how to speak, and I struggle to form words in a complete sentence, in a coherent sentence. And because for me too, it's like my brain is processing and moving so fast that it's like my mouth can't keep up, but it's just like I'm being bombarded with the information, like it's just downloading or uploading so fast. So And again, I'm only here in the human body, so it still takes this human time to be like, whoa, what just took place? Okay. So I've often struggled, so like I said, so, even with being in this type of field or belief system, whatever, right? And like we said before, and what is this video number, like 8 or 9 now in the podcast, like episode 8 or 9, I can't remember, I'll have to check when I upload. And I made some of the other videos here on YouTube, and I've said this so many times, but hey, let's just say it again for those who are showing up for the first time. I don't like labels. I really don't. I don't like labels. I don't like to be thrown in a box. I don't like to be identified as anything, I don't like being thrown in the label of spiritual or, of psychic or intuitive or clairvoyant or medium. I don't like those words because it's so limiting. And it's not that I'm saying I don't have limits, because of course right now I do in this human body. But like, if I didn't have to give a name and say, hi, this is Reverend Arlene, I probably wouldn't say that either. I would just reply to, I don't know, there wouldn't be any words, because everything would just be telepathic in a way. It would just be streams of consciousness, and there would be no words. And that would make life so much easier, because I don't really like talking. I know, which is weird, right? Oh my gosh, and you start a podcast. It's just, I struggle with that, and I don't know why. And again, as I probably said at the very first video on either one, and right now I seem to be rambling, and I apologize for rambling. It's probably because I'm nervous for some reason. And so I struggle with being like the center of attention. And I do struggle with being seen. I'm the type of person where I just like to be behind the scenes. I like to just do the work and just do it. Like, you don't even need to know my name. You don't need to know anything about me. Just, I'm here to be of service. Let's just do that. Give the glory to God. And let's just go with it. And like, that's it. Like, that's just really where I am, right? Like, I don't know. I don't like to bring a lot of attention on myself. It's more because of the fact that, especially when it comes to this kind of work and everything, I don't, because I truly believe that it really has nothing to do with me. Like, right now, I am one of the tools. In this vessel, I'm a tool to help support humanity in whatever way it gets presented. And I do that all based on intuition. I feel like I hear, instead of even hearing, because it's weird, because it's like, sometimes there's like words, but at the same time, is it even words that I'm hearing? And then there's pictures, there's just feelings. It's just like all of a sudden information just appears, but I don't even know how it appears, but somehow it appears in a way that then my human brain can process it and then, or receive the information so that I can then try to put it into words to express it to right now you who are here listening to this and watching this video, watching this episode, or to my clients when they come for a session or for a reading, just people who talk to me, random people sometimes. Yeah, that's, a whole nother interesting situation, being out in public. Okay, it's not as bad as Long Island Medium, but there's been those moments, and I have to be thankful for shows like Long Island Medium, because then I can say things like, have you ever watched this show before? How do you feel about those things? Well, sometimes this information comes to me like her, and I have this message for you. So yeah, so sometimes you got to be thankful for those shows, because sometimes it makes it a little bit more easy to approach people and be like, yeah, hi. So, okay. So back to that. Or back to my main reason right now for this episode. So, this is what's been kind of happening. So for a while now, but as I said, I tend to doubt myself, or I question myself. I question the information that I receive. I'm always asking God, please help me discern this. Help me understand the feelings, the triggers that are coming up. Help me understand just the emotion that I'm feeling. Help me understand my train of thought in this right now. Help me understand where I'm coming from with this. What perspective am I holding right now? What perceptions am I seeing? Is this, a wounded ego, part of me, or is there, validation, truth, confirmation to these things? And even sometimes then, I still, because, I didn't get the clue by for the first 3 times. So, I still, it's like, oh, it's still the benefit of the doubt, right? I'm still going to do the benefit of the doubt. And I find that that's been again coming up a lot recently for me, where I've been needing to trust that more. And I've been really needing to step back and just really be in solitude, in isolation, in really removing myself from a lot of things. Just removing myself, even from here for a bit, right? Like removing myself from YouTube, removing myself from social media, focusing more on, like, if I am doing something to do with any kind of computer stuff, let's say, or social stuff, it is like around my ministry more. But at the same time, I have to be very mindful of that so that I don't get lost. And, and it's been just about really sitting with myself and just allowing everything to kind of process. And what's been interesting too is in this, so I've been having more of an ability, or what I've been noticing that's been heightened too as this is happening, is my ability to sense energies, right? Where it's like it hits me so much faster. And it's almost like the bandwidth of it, or the perimeter of it, or whatever, it expands out so much more, right? So it's like I can be in a room and, I can be one opposite end of the room and the other person is, quite much further away from me, from, the room, and I can feel the energy from that distance, especially when they speak. It was even interesting too. It was just here the other day at my house, and I was in my kitchen while other people were in my living room, and whoa, somebody spoke, and I could just feel that energy come off of them, of what they really felt when they brought something up. And it was just like, wow, that was intense. Like, it was like a wave, and it was hard to dismiss. It was difficult to sit there and second guess it, because I knew that wasn't mine. So I feel that for a lot of us, this is what we're experiencing right now. And in my other videos too, I've talked about how right now this energy is not forgiving. It's very unforgiving energy. And again, what I mean by unforgiving, it's not that it's trying to be cruel or anything, but it's very much of, it's like, I don't know how else to say it. Like, it is going to call you out on your shit. It's just how it is. It is really gonna call you out on your shit. And it's gonna be like smack, clue by 4 in the face. Like, and it's gonna hurt because you are most likely going to be feeling, waves of grief and sadness and anger and frustration and resentment. Because, like for me in my case, a lot of that was coming up. But it was also because, first I was thinking it was anger and resentment. And then it was more of, no, it's sadness, it's grief. Because I feel like, again, I let myself be fooled. And it hurt. So it hurt because there were so many other aspects to it that, it just makes you feel alone. And as much, and as much as I want to have this open heart and be open to receiving and open to giving, it did. It's like for a time there was this time that it's like it made me feel like I had to put more guards up instead of being open, because I felt so hurt. And I was angry, it was at me because, again, I didn't listen to the feelings I've been having off and on for months, maybe even years, about certain situations and certain people and all these things. And I just kept, basically gaslighting myself, trying to talk myself out of it. And again, I feel like that's something that a lot of us are experiencing right now, whether we are that consciously aware of it, but we are really in this space of, like, you think you've gone through something, but it's like, no, that was just maybe the first or the fifth or the sixth layer of it. But there's probably still like hundreds and hundreds of more layers to process over this one, just call it trauma for now, all right? This trigger, and this realization. And there's just so many layers to it. And we're finding too that it's things that are really deep down, and things that maybe happened when we were children, things growing up. Like, these are things that are really coming to the surface. And something that, I was having conversations with a few different people about this too, right? Because they're finding that they're being very triggered right now by things that have happened, within the family, or, that they're struggling with mental health. And, and again, I'm someone that understands that quite a bit, especially when it comes to mental health. I've had a lot of my own experiences with that, and still experiencing things with that. And I'm trying to help them, like, they ask for insight or, some, whatever I can give them, knowing that I've had a lot of these different experiences, and that, I have processed a lot of layers, but I still have a lot of layers to go. Right? Like, I like to joke around, like, I'm a hot mess too sometimes. So the thing I always say is, it's the human ego that always wants the why. And more I realize the why is not important, right? And I know this is something that many have heard so many times, because there's so many people out there that are saying this too, right? I know this isn't like it's not any original information, right? Nothing's original anymore, right? Like, nothing is really just yours, right? You didn't invent the wheel, right? So I get that too. I know I didn't invent the wheel. But this is why too, where, constantly talking about something, always looking for that why, or always looking to, always put blame, or, point fingers at something, that is the ego. And that is just keeping the story alive, and you're just constantly feeding that story. And so I've said this already so many times in so many videos too, probably, I don't know, or maybe it's just, again, I'm just constantly having conversations, so sometimes it feels like I'm talking here when I'm not, right? So, the why doesn't matter. What matters is, what are you doing now? What matters is recognizing that you're feeling something, right? So it's just recognizing, like I've said before, I'm angry, I'm hurt, this triggered me. Okay, fine. Feel it. Acknowledge it, right? Acknowledge it. I'm friggin' pissed off. I'm angry. And allow yourself to be angry. But the important part, right, in these layers of it, as you're processing it, it's understanding that yes, you are feeling angry. Or yes, you're sad. Yes, you're scared. Okay, feel that. So first it's acknowledging it. And then it's reminding yourself, the why doesn't matter right now. What matters is, this is what I'm feeling. This is what's happening right now in my body. And then it's reminding yourself, I'm going to feel this, but I'm safe in my body. I'm safe where I am. And then do your breathing, right? You're breathing in through the nose, out through the nose for a few counts, and then you go in through the nose and out through the mouth for a few counts, and then back to in. You can do different ones that feel safe to you. Moving your body, so important. Move your body. Don't just be stuck there. Even if it is just letting yourself fall on your bed, just constantly fall on your bed, just constantly fall back, wiggle, like shake hard, stomp your feet, that, dance, just move. Who cares? Just move. You know what I mean? Get it out of your body. Exercise if you need to. Go for a walk to get it out. Just run up and down the stairs if you have stairs. Not even the whole stairs. Just like a few steps and go back. You know what I mean? Just to get it out and moving. It's like you're getting it out of the pores, right? You're making it come out of the sweat. And that's kind of like the energy. It needs a place to move. Because it's for us not to stay stuck in it. So you're not constantly staying stuck in it and letting it control you, but you're acknowledging that you're feeling it and that it needs a place to go. And also understanding that it's not going to just come and go in one day. You're feeling it strongly today, and then you might be okay for a few months, and then boom, it comes again. Also, it's about paying attention to maybe the times that this comes up. So, is this a time of year, is there a birthday coming, an anniversary, this something, is this the time of year where, you have like that seasonal, like SAD, right? Seasonal affective disorder, I think is what it's called, something like that. There's probably a new name for it now. Like, again, I'm old school. These are the names I was given when I was growing up, so like I said, I'm 47, so it's, it was lingual. So it's understanding those things. And it's so important that we give ourselves permission to process it. And we just keep reminding ourselves. It's so important to have that self-talk with yourself, to constantly tell yourself, I'm safe in my body. I'm safe. I'm safe. I am whole, and I'm not broken. And that's the other thing. We tend to think the worst, right? We are our worst critics. And so then we end up we end up thinking we're broken. You're not broken. Trust me, if anything that I know that God tells me so much is you are not broken. You just feel broken, but you're not broken. And what it is that you're not feeling whole, right? So it's because when we don't feel whole like that, it's because we're living some sort of a lie. Because we're not being honest with ourselves. We're not being truthful, and we're afraid, right? We're afraid of not fitting in to society's expectations and norms. We're scared of making change. We're scared of offending or hurting somebody. We are afraid of people not liking us, people not understanding us, people judging us. These are all the things that we're afraid of, but really that's what we're doing to ourselves. And we're doing it a lot more intensified than anyone else could do, right? So again, this is really what the energies we're sitting in right now. And again, it's going to feel and look different for so many people because so many people are in different phases. And that's okay, because we can't all be in the same phase at the same time. It's just not how it works. Energy doesn't work that way. It's everybody's in different phases at different times. Everybody's experiencing different brain waves and thoughts at different times. But it's just understanding that you're not alone. And that God loves you so much. Like I said in that other video, that little short one I made. Like, God just does so much. And when we don't believe that, it's because we haven't given ourselves permission to see it. And, we tend to focus on what we don't have instead of being in such gratitude for what we do have, right? And sometimes it is just starting small and then building from there. Waking up, the fact that you woke up, the fact that you got maybe an extra 10 minutes of sleep, be grateful. I don't know, be grateful for that cup of coffee in the morning. Or, I don't know, just anything. And still be thankful for that bill. Because that meant, when you get your hydro bill or something, you're thankful for that hydro bill. Because that means you have electricity in your home. Right? Like, what a blessing that is. What a gift that is. And we need to be thankful for that. Let's see. And it's just this energy too, because everything is accelerating so much. It's about also being still and centered and present and being mindful of where our thoughts are going, where our attention is going. What are we focusing on? Are we still dwelling on the past? Are we worrying about the future? And when we do that, we miss now. We miss what's happening right now. And like right now, I'm so grateful right now to be able just to sit here and do this with you. And it's interesting because more and more, it's not that my brain doesn't go off in thoughts sometimes, but I'm finding that it's not like it was before. So it's like, even right now, I'm sitting here and I feel like I'm in a few different places. Like I'm here trying, doing my best to share the information. But yet at the same time, I'm also in this one space where I'm in nothingness. And it's just so quiet and so still and so peaceful. But yet at the same time, even when I step back into this, this frequency of the accelerated energy, I still feel calm. And it's because I know God's with me. And I know and I have faith that I'm being guided and that everything's going to be okay. And even there's times with everybody, there's, financially, there's so much coming up with my, youngest going to university and stuff with my oldest. And like I said, with both of them being on the autism spectrum. So there's just a lot happening that requires my attention. And at times, there's these times where it's all of a sudden the anxiety builds up. And I'm just like, how am I going to do this? Where is this money going to magically appear, right? And it's not that it's magically appeared yet, but at the same time, I just know it's going to be okay. And I don't know how I know that. And I don't know why I feel it so strongly, but I do. I just know that somehow it's going to work out and that we're going to be okay. Because all I keep hearing is this little voice in the back of my head saying, when have I ever left you without? When have you never had what you needed? And it's true. Somehow it's always appeared. And it's not my job to figure out how it's going to appear or what that's going to look like. That's God's job. 3033. Gotta love that. Oh, that's my sign of Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. So yeah, like, I don't know. And yeah, like, and right now, as I'm saying this, I can feel the human. I can feel the ego scared shitless. Like, it is not having fun. It is, like, not happy with me for knowing I'm okay. Right? Like, I don't know how else to explain it. I'm hoping this is making sense. And I really do feel like I'm just rambling, and I apologize if that's what it feels like. But I almost felt like, even if I do seem like I'm rambling, I just know that the frequency that this holds, the codes that are embedded in this right now and being sent out, is going to send out what needs to be sent out. Like, it's in the bandwidth. Like, it's out there. Yeah. Whew. What an interesting experience. To feel so like everything is so but yet at the same time I'm just like, yeah, it's good. It's all good. I'll just sit here. You want to go and play in the chaos? Okay. But no, I'm just going to observe and stay here. No, I stay, right? It's like from what is it, Family Guy? No, I stay. And that's where I feel right now, right? Or that other joke of namaste. No, I stay. Namaste. Oh my gosh. Anyways, that's just my weird sense of humor showing again. Because sarcasm, I put that on everything. And I'm such a smart ass, I can't help it. And it's always jokes that come up. Like, just, if I could sell tickets for my head, it would be pretty funny. Yeah. Where are you going to find, or how are you going to anchor into your stillness? I guess that's another question in this video, is how do you anchor in to the peace that's there? How are you going to detach yourself from the chaos and the illusions and the distractions so that you can hear the voice of God? Or if not hear it, feel it. Feel God's presence. Feel that comfort. How are you going to get there? What are you going to do? What's your first step? For me, a lot of times it's listening to like Hertz or the mantra type of music, depending on certain podcasts I listen to. So some of them are like spiritual, and even when I say spiritual, I mean religious too. Like, I like listening to it all, right? Like, I'll listen to, different ones. Like, I don't know. And again, it's, like I said, I was raised Roman Catholic. I don't know if I really practice Roman, as a Roman Catholic, but, but there's things about it that still bring me comfort. And it could just be because that's how I was raised and exposed to. So there's a level of comfort. And I think a lot of it too is because when I think of the Catholic religion, I think of my grandmother. And that brings me comfort. And I think that's the association. Is thinking of her brings me comfort. And that was her comfort. That was her solace. She always had her rosary in her hand. And she was always praying. Always. She'd fall asleep on the couch watching her soap operas while she was praying the rosary. And it's just, yeah. And maybe that's what a lot of it is. That just came to me right now. It's kind of giving me a little bit of a goosebumps there. So that could be why I find comfort in saying the rosary, because it makes me think of her. But there's going to be different things, right? Like, I think too, it's not needing to be so serious about things. And especially, when it comes to, let's say, these religious things too, where it's like, let yourself listen. It doesn't mean that you want to convert yourself, or you're gonna become that, or it's gonna become, the way you live your life. But there's always value in everything, right? There's always value in something, and the value sometimes could be knowing that it's not for you, but that was still valuable. Yeah, you might feel like, oh, I just wasted, an hour of my life, but that was confirmation for you. So how's that being wasteful? It's not. It brought you a confirmation to something, or it helped you understand something that you don't want, right? But then sometimes going to something that you weren't really interested in going might have the answers you're looking for, right? Like, sometimes it doesn't really matter where it's coming from. It's just listening to what the actual information is, right? Like, sometimes you get inspiration and that nod from God from reading a billboard, right? A song comes on, or somebody tells you about a book and they read you a quote, or, you're going through social media and you see, book, quotes and stuff like that. Like, God shows you in ways that probably make no sense to you. And that's really what God loves to do. Like, really does. Like the other day, I have to tell you this one part and then I'll be done. Again, it just makes me laugh, right? Because again, it's just like, it just shows how much God and my higher self team, they're just hilarious, right? And again, it was another lesson in, don't try to be so specific in some stuff, surrender to how the information is going to come and just let it come. So I was, asking God for a sign. And I basically said something like, let the boys, because my sons are home or whatever. I'm just like, okay, if this is a yes or whatever, have one of the boys, come to my room in some way, right? Like, have them come to my room, or, come get my attention, something, and I was like, in this time between counting from now to 25 or something. And then what do I laugh about? I was waiting. I was getting closer to the 25 or something. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, my phone goes off. And my son, who's in his bedroom, just 5 steps away from me, and sends me a text message. And I was laughing so hard. I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay. Technically, yeah. He's in my room. He grabbed my attention. It's just through text. So he's there with me in my room through text. So there you go. Again, it just shows you the humor. It's all a big joke. It's all about knowing how to play the game, right? Or understanding the game so you know how not to play, I guess, is another way of seeing it. Anyways, so thank you for being here. I hope, I'm going to have to trust, like always, that there was something of value in this, or there was some reason why I needed to do this video the way I did it, make this episode the way I made it. And again, as I always say, this is as raw as it comes. I don't have any special equipment. I don't do any kind of special editing. Half the time the laptop is just sitting here on my lap, so it's extra shaky because I'm Portuguese and I talk with my hands. European, talk with my hands, so I'm sure it's a little wobbly. It's so hot that I have to keep it dark in here, because the air conditioner and the fans are just not enough, and it's just one little air conditioner in my kitchen. So yeah, it's hot, so it's not greatest lighting, because like I said, I gotta keep it dark in here. So this is as raw as it gets. This is me on a hot July 28th evening And I just do what I'm told. I jump on and then blah. Verbal diarrhea. Where I know there's a purpose for it. Because coming on video isn't exactly, my favorite thing to do, and something I really want to do, but I know I need to. Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't, and this is always the part, I never say this in the videos, and I don't know, where it's like, hi, if you like this content, please like, share, subscribe. I just never think about saying those things, because I'm just like, okay, this is so new to me, and I'm just here sharing. But yeah, I would appreciate that if you did, and as always, I appreciate you all so much. I appreciate those who watch and send me comments, whether that be on social media or right here on YouTube. And it just means a lot to me. Really, it does. And I know a lot of people say that, but it does truly mean a lot to me. Like, my heart is just always so full. And especially, it means so much to me because, as I shared, this is very uncomfortable for me. So I do appreciate when people take that time to click and listen for a bit, right? Like, it means a lot. I value your time, so, and I hope you value mine. Surrounding you all in love. And remember that you are loved, you are seen, you're whole, and you are safe, and you're not broken. Till next time.